Thanks, Deb. Now you know exactly what you can get me for Easter. It's that chocolate and, put it in one of those nice little containers. That'd be great. Hey, listen, if you are out there and you're sort of feeling overwhelmed, you're up to your ears in debt, we're going to help you today. We're joined by Robin Janak and Carl Rumanek, and they are from Rumanek and Company Limited. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shane.
So
Pleasure to be here.
Well, great. It's great to have you. We're talking today about how to know, I guess, first of all, whether you are in too much debt and when you need help, that sort of thing. Maybe you could talk to me a little bit about that. But before we do that, you have, Robin, you've opened up a franchise, I guess, in Creemore, right?
Yeah, basically a satellite office in Creemore.
Right, so this starts with you. So I'm at home and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. The process sort of starts with you. They come in and see you at the office, and where does it go from there? What do you do?
We'll just sit down, we'll chat, we'll go over the finances, go over the liabilities, and just figure out what the best option is.
You must be fairly busy these days.
A little bit busy.
A little bit busier than normal, I guess, because
Yes.
it's hectic times out there, and all sorts of reasons why that happens. And maybe we can talk, Carl, a little bit about some of the reasons why that does happen. How do people get themselves into this situation?
Well, the origin of that is really a combination of many different things. You could be working for an employer. The employer goes out of business, which is happening all over in the auto industry now, to something more simplistic in terms of the fact that you have a addiction to something which costs money, and the addiction could be drugs, alcohol, gambling, shopaholic, whatever.
And those things increase too, I think, during tough economic times. Certainly the gambling does, because people are looking for a way out, right?
Absolutely. Everybody's trying to get the extra money that they need to pay off the bills that they got from the addiction in the first place.
Right, exactly. Now, it's sort of sad to say this, but I mean, being up to your ears or up over your ears in debt can be emotionally troubling too. And unfortunately, there's a lot of suicides that happen because people think there's no other way out.
We've had a couple of suicides in our office over the past. In most cases, it's not a suicidal thing, but it's simply the need to get help.
Right.
And that's the basic of it. You've got to recognize the symptoms of being in over your head, and getting a part-time job at $8 an hour isn't going to help you.
That's right.
So you have to get out of debt, and that's what the insolvency legislation in Canada is there for.
Right. So what are some of the symptoms that you talk about? How can I tell if, I think most people have, with cars and homes and so on, they've run up a fair bit of debt, certainly more than our parents and grandparents did. How do you know that you're in too much? What are the symptoms?
Well, the symptoms are varied. You are making the minimum payments on your credit cards at best, as opposed to paying them off every month. A lot of people seem to take cash advances on one card and use it to pay the minimum payments on another card, or you're simply not making payments at all. I have a number of people where, when we're talking to them at the beginning, and you say, who do you owe money to? Well, I owe money on this Visa or that MasterCard, and how much do you owe? And they haven't a clue because they haven't opened the envelopes in the last year.
Well, that's the way it gets, I guess. They're not answering their telephones, they're not opening their mail, and I guess they're figuring it's just going to go away on its own.
Which is what they're hoping for, but it really doesn't. But there's a huge stress value.
Right. Who would your typical client be coming in? Is there a typical client?
Not really a typical, although there is cyclical things. Last year we saw a lot of cab drivers and truckers. They were getting nailed simply because the price of gas was going up tremendously fast and they couldn't cope with it. The last few months I've noticed an awful lot of real estate agents coming in. It seems that the housing market has collapsed, so they're now making sales and they're stuck with the payments that they have to make to the real estate companies.
Yeah, there are those monthly expenses, whether they're selling homes or not selling
That's
homes.
right, exactly.
And then this stuff just sort of piggybacks on itself, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't go away.
No.
But the good news is we can come and see you and see Robin, and Robin will sort of get us off on the right foot. So I come to see you, I've got this problem, you've determined it. What are you going to tell me, Robin?
It depends on the situation. I could very well send you to Carl.
Right.
Or I could help you figure out what the best way is to...
So I come in and I've got a $2,000 car payment. You don't necessarily have to send me on to Carl for that. You may be able to determine that. And, it sounds simple, but sometimes people can't see the forest for the trees, I guess. Is that sort of it? Do you have people coming in with a $2,000, not a $2,000 car loan, but, obviously, or some obvious choices of what they can do without necessarily needing a professional immediately?
Right. Sometimes it just takes a third party to sit down and go over things with you, just to sort of sort it out and figure out what you can do to start balancing every month.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. It's about balancing. So, like I said, though, the good news is, and you're going to help us with this, we've recognized the symptoms. You know, I'm sure there's some viewers out there that are saying, yeah, my debt is I'm not paying my minimum payments on my credit cards and so on. I recognize now that I'm in trouble. Don't give up.
No, definitely not. Bankruptcy obviously is the last approach you want to go to, but what we're seeing most often now is an attempt to pay your bills by simply making a minimum payment every month.
Perfect. That's a start, and we're going to give you more information on what you can do, so don't give up. Don't give up on this show either. Come right back, because we're going to give you all the tips you need to get back on track financially. We'll be right back with lots more on Rogers TV.